الله لا إله إلا هو له الأسماء الحسنى.
الحمد لله نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون أيام معدودات فمن كان منكم مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر وعلى الذين يطيقون فدية طعام مسكين فمن تطوع خيرا فهو خير له وأن تصوموا خيرا لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. رب زدني علما رب زدني علما رب زدني علما رب زدني عملا رب زدني عملا رب زدني عملا. My dear respected elders and brothers and sisters who listen to my speech, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is the first Jummah of this year's Ramadan al-Mubarak. Haq Ta'ala says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. O believers, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hath made fasting compulsory on you. And the hikmat and the wisdom of fasting is to لعلكم تتقون, so you can come past. I say this often, that tattaqoon is from waqyun wiqaya, which means create a barrier between yourself and the displeasures of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Those things which displease Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that these are not permitted to do, those saying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said not to do, create a barrier between them and yourself. That's what it means, waqyun wiqaya. Then we have fulfilled the rights of fasting. Why do I say that? That because Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, مَنْ لَمْ يَدَعْ قَوْلَ الزُّورِ, those people who do not leave lying and sins, فَلَيْسَ لِلَّهِ حَاجَةٌ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not need him to leave his eating and drinking. This hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is informing us and indicating to us that eating and drinking is a permissible thing, a mubah thing. Sometimes eating and drinking is necessary. That a person realizes that if I do not eat or drink, I will die. Then it's compulsory and farz and wajib on him to eat and drink so he doesn't die. Why? Because committing suicide is not allowed in Islam. وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. Committing suicide is not allowed in Islam, it's haram. So that's why sometimes eating and drinking is compulsory. Most of the time is appreciated, is mustahab, especially if you eat extra or you eat something on this intention, that I'm having this and this food or this drink will give me strength to do extra ibadah. Extra ibadah is mustahab and is appreciated. This is the maqsood. So what Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is telling us, that you leave in a permissible thing. What mubah wal asr. His nature is what mubah are permissible. You're leaving that, but you're not leaving a haram thing. Anything which is not permissible is in Islam, you're still doing that. You're lying, you're doing backbiting, you're consuming interest, you're consuming any kind of drugs, anything like this, which is not permissible. We are consuming that during Ramadan. But we are refraining from that thing which is mubah, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, but we're not refraining from those things which are haram. So what will happen is, the real barakat of fasting, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, that will not be created. We need to create a barrier between ourselves and the sins. And when we create that barrier, the real barakat and soul and ruh of fasting is that we become pious. And this is our field for exercising field. This is Ramadan is our exercise field. You know, that Ramadan is like a qalb, a heart, for all the month. All the month functions because of what? Ramadan al-Mubarak. That's what the status of Ramadan al-Mubarak is. Like a qalb and heart. So, in Ramadan al-Mubarak, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks us not to eat or not to drink. And refrain ourselves from all the shahawat, all the desires. Yeah, you know the human desires, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says refrain from all them. From drinking, eating, and what? The desires. Why? So we come in the same kind of category of angels. Because the angels, they do not eat, they do not drink, they do not have any desires. But what do? They obey the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. لا يعصون الله ما أمرهم ويفعلون ما يؤمرون. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala orders them, they do that. They do not refrain from any kind of order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us opportunity in the month of Ramadan al-Mubarak so we can practice and exercise such things that we can come in the same categories of what? Angels. We won't come angels because they are made from nur. We are made from what? Soil. But we can come in the same line of them if we practice properly. If we act on Ramadan al-Mubarak properly. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَيَّامًا مَعْدُودَاتٍ. The fasting of Ramadan, which is compulsory on you, is only a few days. It's 29 days or 30 days. It's not much. Indicating that everyone, illa mashallah, majority of the people will have the ability of fasting. They won't be hard. If they want to fast. You know, a lot of things has got connection with mental. It's a mental thing. If you put in your mind, I can do this, you will do it. If we bear in our mind, I cannot do it, you cannot do it. So in our mind, if we say, I cannot fast, then you won't be able to fast because that's a mental thing. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ayyamam Madud, only a few days. Fast. فَمَنْ كَانَ مِنْكُمْ مَرِيضًا أَوْ عَلَى سَفَرٍ فَعِدَّةٌ مِنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرَ. In the next ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, those of you who are ill. When we say ill, everyone knows about their body. Yeah? Everyone knows how their body acts. So if I go by someone specialist, a medical specialist, and put everything in front of them that I've got this illness, obviously the way I explain it to the doctors and the specialists, they'll say don't fast. But in my heart I know I can fast. I have the ability to fast. If I know that, then you're not in that category that you are excused and not fasting. Everyone knows how the body works. Everyone knows how to play around with their body. Everyone knows how to control themselves. But still, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَمَنْ كَانَ مِنْكُمْ مَرِيضًا, if you are ill, فَعِدَّةٌ مِّنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرَ, then fast in those days, catch up for the fast, and fast in other days. So for instance, if someone is really ill, or got some kind of illness, that in this Ramadan or today or tomorrow they cannot fast because of that illness. But they know they can later on catch up for it in the short days or other days. So for them to make any kind of fidya, that's not allowed. I repeat myself. For those people who are really excused according to Sharia, they know themselves. Just by being diabetic, it doesn't mean that you are excused. Just by having some small issues of heart problem, it doesn't mean you're excused. Everyone knows their body, how the body works. Yeah? So if you are really excused according to Sharia Mutahara, and you cannot fast in the month of Ramadan al-Mubarak, but you can fast later on, you have the opportunity and you have the ability to fast later on. For that person, fidya is not allowed. They have to fast later on. That's the Masala. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "O ala safarin fa'iddatun min ayyamin ukhar." If someone is on the journey, they are allowed to not fast. But remember, this means when you set off for the journey before Sahri time, before Subah Sadiq. So if someone, for instance, nowadays is about approximately 4:30, something like that. So if someone set off before 4:30, then they are allowed not to fast if they don't want to fast. And the journey is more than 48 miles or more than 48 miles. If they don't want to fast, they don't have to fast. But it's better وَأَن تَصُومُوا خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ that they fast. But if they set out after Subh Sadiq, after Sahri time, then they are not allowed to break the fast, they have to fast. So I repeat my masala, that there's some misunderstanding on this. Quran is saying, "O ala safari fa'iddatun min ayyamin ukhar." If you are on a journey, and the journey is 48 miles or more than 48 miles, you are allowed not to fast. But it's better to fast. But when can you do this? This is only allowed when you leave before Subh Sadiq, before Sahri time, like before 4:30 nowadays. Yeah? If you leave before that, then if you don't fast, it's okay. But if you fast, it's better. But if you leave after Subh Sadiq, then you're not allowed to break your fast. Then you have to keep it. That is the masala. وَأَن تَصُومُوا وَعَلَى الَّذِينَ يُطِيقُونَ فِدْيَةٌ طَعَامُ مِسْكِينٍ فَمَنْ تَطَوَّعَ خَيْرًا. Quran وَعَلَى الَّذِينَ يُطِيقُونَ means وَعَلَى الَّذِينَ لَا يُطِيقُونَ. Those who do not have ability to fast. Now, who are those people who do not have ability to fast? Either they have reached a certain age, in that age they have no umeed and no hope that they will get stronger and be able to fast later on. In certain age, that they know in this age I won't be able to get healthier and stronger to fast later on. So these people are allowed to give what? Fidya. Yeah? For every fast. Or someone is young, but they got some kind of illness, such an illness that illness normally you will not get better in it, and that will get severe as they go, and they have no hope of getting better and healthier. So they are allowed to give fidya for every fast. When do they give this fidya? When Ramadan al-Mubarak starts. Yeah? So, I will tell you what the fidya is next week, inshallah ta'ala. I've done the calculation, and they should give How much fidya should they give? I'll put it on the group. So it's the same as fitrana, yani zakat al-fitr. So if they want to give according to wheat, they give 4.40 per day. If they want to give according to barley, 9.50. So I would say that they should give at least £10 per fasting. If they cannot fast, and they are really mazur, and we call it in our istilahat, in fuqaha says Shaykh al-Fani, a sheikh which will, an old person which is just deteriorating now. So if they are there, they can give, for every day they can give £10 at the one Ramadan Vasa. Why do I say this? Because the fasting of Ramadan and Ramadan has got a great barakat, great blessing. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that if anyone misses fasting in Ramadan al-Mubarak, either they're excused, mazur, they won't be sinful if they're mazur, or because they're on a journey, or deliberately they did not fast. If they fast in afterward later for their whole life, for instance, they have that much ability to fast their whole life. I'll give you an example. Someone missed fasting one day in the month of Ramadan al-Mubarak, and then realized later on, made tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I made a sin. Ya Allah, forgive me. And now he says, I want to fast for my rest of my life to catch up for one fast. Catching up for one fast, maybe one fast he has a fast, or might have to give a kafara, which is 60 fasting. Yeah? Continuously. But this person says that I want to fulfill the right of the one fast. And for instance, wants to fast for 20 years, continuously. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, for instance, if he does that, or she does that, they won't get the barakat what they missed what they missed in the month of Ramadan al-Mubarak. So the blessing and the barakat of Ramadan al-Mubarak is just in the month of Ramadan al-Mubarak. We as human beings, we are weak. خُلِقَ الْإِنسَانُ ضَعِيفٌ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. But لَا يُكَلِّفُ اللَّهُ نَفْسًا إِلَّا وُسْعَهَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that when I put a burden, or when I put a responsibility on someone, I don't put it beyond his power. I put it on everyone according to their power. So if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made the fasting of Ramadan al-Mubarak compulsory on us, it means that we have the power, we have the ability. We can fast. Look, Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam used to fast Sawm al-Wisal. Sawm al-Wisal means that fast, he used to do sehri one day, then do not break his fast, continuously fasting for a few days without any iftari, without any sehri. This is what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did. But Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to the Sahaba that you're not allowed to do that. I do it, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, but you don't do it. So whatever ability Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had, we don't have that ability, or we don't have that tawakkul, or we don't have that mentality. I say all this is in our head. Yeah, but Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had that, but Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us not to do that. But this fasting, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us. And you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it very easy. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, do sehri, pre-dawn breakfast, have that, alright? Have sehri, and it's barakat in it. If you look at the Yahud, they used to fast without any sehri. The difference between us and them is that we have sehri. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said straight away, when the fasting, the iftari time comes, break your fast straight away. Then Rasulullah taught us some tips that have dates, have sweet things, and have all these dates. Why? The dates will give you the strength. Anyway, the doctor spoke on all these things last week. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.
الله لا إله